My loves, welcome back to my channel. It is Chrissy G, and if you are new here, welcome. I do have a few new subscribers. I know I haven't been posting consistently, and so the channel has been growing slowly, but it's still growing. And I'm here to give you guys an update and where I'm at on my journey, and to give you guys some new insight of some things that I'm doing. It is now 2025. I hope you all had a wonderful time with friends and family during the holiday season, and I hope you all have enjoyed your new year and you found yourself surrounded and filled with loved ones. And just, I wish the best for you all in this new year, in this new 2025. I will say that for the second year in my life, weight loss was not at the top of my list. Obviously, I want to continue maintaining and not gain any weight, but my focus is not weight loss because I'm still very happy where I am. Am I where I want to be? No, because I want to be at 185, and recently I've found myself struggling to even get out of the 90s, and I teeter-totter between 197 and 204. Yes, I managed to get myself all the way up to 204 pounds. And that was not an easy pill to swallow, you guys. I got on the scale one day and I was 204. And then I stayed there for about a week and a half until I put my foot down and started with portion control again. So I definitely want to talk more on being off of the injection and all the things that comes with, because having been on the injection or on GLP meds for the last 2 years has really changed. Now trying to do it alone is a lot harder than I anticipated. Definitely everything is back. Everything. And just like I thought, and I know that it's something that people would consistently say, like, you're going to regain the weight and all that. I know. I'm still a firm believer of portion control. That has not changed. The problem when you're not on GLP medications is that portion control goes out the window, literally. You're able to eat larger amounts, which translates to weight gain, right? So that's about, I mean, there's no like aha behind it. You can no longer control the hunger. Like, it's just, you're hungry. Like, I wake up starving some mornings. Like, I can fight through the hunger pain all up until I get to the office and have my first cup of black coffee, and usually I'm okay till about 10 o'clock, even though, mentally I'm having to fight the urge to eat or to have something. I'm also trying to play around with adding more whole foods to my diet. So, like, I'm trying to volume eat in a sense. I'm still a little bit scared about volume eating. If you've not heard of volume eating, although most of you guys have done everything under the book like myself, volume eating is just eating bigger amounts of healthier foods so that you are satisfied. I'm trying. I started off with yogurt bowls in the morning to feel like I can at least have some breakfast. But again, in my mind, I'm constantly battling myself, which that's a whole other story, you guys. So I recently went to go see a psychiatrist for the first time ever in my life. And that was a very eye-opening experience with just my first session. I literally did my first session on last week. And it was a virtual meeting, but you still see each other face to face. And it was just over an hour long. No one knows except my immediate family, not because I'm ashamed of it, and obviously I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to talk about my experience and all that good stuff. So that is a whole other journey that we're fixing to embark on. If you guys want to join me and kind of get more insight on that, it's something else that I really want to speak on. Obviously, like I've always said before, weight loss is always going to be a big part of my journey. And what I was getting at is that now, having seen the psychiatrist, I can see how mental health has a lot to do with weight loss and how you see food and why you think the way you do, and why it's so hard for me to not think about food when I'm hungry and all that good stuff. But anyways, I kind of want to dive into my whole psychiatrist visit and all that good stuff. And I'm going to start a whole new series doing this, documenting that journey. He suggested we do weekly visits. And I was like, that seems kind of excessive because I've never done this before, and I figured that doing it bi-weekly would be sufficient for me. But I'm honestly considering doing it weekly as he proposed, because I'm like ready for another session. And so I'm not supposed to see him this week until the following week, but I may reach out to him and be like, hey, do you think you can go ahead and take me in this week? Or I'll just wait it out till the following session and then switch it to weekly. So I initially felt like it'd be excessive, but now I feel like after just talking it out with someone who understands the different mental, talking it out with a professional who is kind of telling me, well, based on what you're saying, this is what it could be, or this is why you react that way, or this is why you think of things this way, was really eye-opening and pretty refreshing, because I'm now 40 and I obviously come from a Mexican American household, and I don't know how many of you guys know about the Latino culture in general. I know I have a lot of Latinos here on my channel, but for those of you who did not grow up around the Latino culture, or Mexican in specific, we're very much a reserved community. We don't speak of things. Even my mom will still sometimes be like, you said that, you said that on YouTube, or you said that on social media, because we just kind of tend to keep everything inside the house and we just don't talk about it. Mental health is one of those things. We just do not talk about mental health. There is no such thing. And we grew up very much feeling like kids who may have had ADD or who were hyperactive, they're just spoiled. They need a good spanking is what they need. They're spoiled kids. And this is just what my parents would say. My uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, everybody just felt like they're just spoiled kids. They need a good spanking. So we did grow up in a household that did spank. We got spanked a lot and whatnot. And you just didn't talk about your feelings. You didn't talk about anything. You didn't talk about anything you weren't supposed to be doing before marriage. You didn't talk about cycles. You didn't talk about anything until it happened and you lived through it and you had to figure it out. It's just, let's just say that I went in thinking that I could potentially have ADHD, which is inattentive attention deficit, hyperactive disorder, something like that. I can't even remember what it is, but I'll put it in here. And I felt like I had the inattentive version because someone was talking about it and I kind of looked it up, and then I started seeing all these things that resonate almost 99% with me. A lot of the things that people with ADHD do, I do have done, continue to do. And so I was 100% sure that the psychiatrist was going to be like, oh, absolutely, you have ADHD, based on a lot of the things that I let him know that I do that made me feel that that's why I had this. And to my surprise, at the end of our visit, he's like, I'm not diagnosing you just yet because this is our very first session. He's like, but based on a lot of the responses you give me and just kind of your behaviors and how you react to things, I'm looking at more maybe PTSD and OCD. And apparently they work hand in hand. And apparently ADHD is also tied into that somehow, but he doesn't feel like I have ADHD just yet. I've done all this research on PTSD because I don't know how many of you, but when you hear PTSD, what comes to mind? For me, it's military, like anyone who's in the military. I don't hear of PTSD outside of that. Or really traumatic events, like someone who was in a really bad car accident and now they have PTSD and they don't want to get in a car, or they feel very anxious about it and very nervous, and you know, they're just mortified to be in a car with someone or whatnot. That to me is PTSD. And so I'm like, I don't know. And I did look it up and I'm like, maybe there's different versions. Maybe a whole lot of people don't speak on it a whole lot. I don't know. I'm still very new in this and I'm still trying to figure it out. But on the OCD part of it, when he first said that, I was like, absolutely not. I know. I didn't tell him that. I said, you're the professional. You would know more than I what my behaviors fall in, what category they fall into or whatnot. But when I left the call, I was like, OCD, it just does not resonate with me. Like, I'm not overly compulsive, right? Because it's over compulsive disorder. Because in my mind, I'm thinking OCD people are like, no, this can't be like this. Like, it needs to be here. Put this back over here. Do not move my stapler. This is where I like my stapler. Like, that to me is OCD. Like, why can't y'all keep the cabinets closed? And I'm opposite. I leave the cabinets open. Why can't your drawers be organized? Mine are a hot mess. Like, to me, OCD is just always being like very organized, which, no, to my surprise, that is not always. It is for some people, but not for all. And so when I was telling Debbie, my coworker, about my visit, because again, I overshare. I always let everybody know what's going on. I was telling her, yeah, he mentioned that I could potentially have OCD. And she was like, well, I'm like, Debbie, what do you mean? And she's like, think about it. When you're working on something and you have an idea of how you want it played out, she's like, we just become your workers, and we have to bring your idea to life the way you want it. She's like, we don't really, she's like, you will ask for our suggestions, you will ask for our ideas, but in your mind, you already have it done and organized, and you just want us to feel included, but you don't necessarily take our suggestions. And she couldn't be more right. I am very particular about how I want things done and how I want to execute them, and I'm very much a perfectionist in that sense. And so, like, I love event planning. Like, I absolutely thrive in event planning. So that's one part of my job that I thrive in and I love doing. But I'm very controlling, and I don't think I had realized that until now. I am very like, no, this has to be there. This is how many we're putting in here. This is what we're doing. This is what we're ordering. This is the time schedule for the event. I want to say that I'm not nearly as rigid at home as a whole. Like, I am very much about time. Like, I'm very much a control freak when it comes to time. Like, if we said we're going to be out at a certain time, I'm consistently like, we need to be out by that time. If somebody invites me somewhere, I'm usually there on time. In our culture, no one ever gets there on time. So when I get to someone's house on time for a party or an event, I end up having to help because I'm the only one there. And so I end up having to put out furniture or put out plates, whatever it may be. I don't know. I don't think I ever noticed this until they brought it to my attention. And I'm like, and then my husband's like, yeah. He's like, that's why it stresses me so much when mom comes over, his mom, and wants to help in the kitchen, because I know how you are. And after he said that, I was like, oh my God, because last time my mother-in-law came over to the house, she literally was like, how would you like me to cut your tomatoes? Do you want them in slices or do you want them diced up? She's like, because I know you're very particular on how you cut your vegetables. And I'm like, I didn't think of anything of it when she did that. I was just literally like, oh yeah, diced is fine, But now thinking back, I'm like, that's terrible. Obviously, she knows that I'm very particular. And so everyone else around me notices, but because I'm the one doing it, like, I didn't really pay attention. So that is why I say, like, it was really eye-opening talking to someone else and then them telling me, like, yeah, this is what's going on. So I'm really looking forward to our next couple of visits. Was it easy? Absolutely not. And it was funny because when you're signing up for the appointment, it does let you know to be prepared, because it could open up wounds, it could bring on depression, anxiety, stress, tears. And I was just like, oh, like, I read through all that and I was like, whatever, like, I'll be fine. And I will say I probably cried a good 3 different times during our 1-hour session. It's crazy because, yeah, they really start to dig in all the way into your childhood, because a lot of what happened in your childhood is why, as an adult, you are the way you are. You do the things that you do. And so there's also something called, like, oldest daughter syndrome, where the oldest daughter, if you're not only a girl, but the oldest in the family, you're treated a little bit differently in the sense that you're expected to be more hands-on and being the, like, second mom and all that good stuff. So anyways, all that ties into together to what he was telling me. So I was just really, like, surprised about how much I learned about myself in that 1 hour. And so I was like, Debbie's like, you should have just said, hey, we'll meet again next week. She said, I think you need this. So I almost agree with her, and I think I'm going to reach out to him because like I said, it was very interesting, and I'm actually looking forward. Not only is it helping me discover myself a little bit more, but it's also helping me understand how people react and how I can better react to people and all that good stuff, and to be more understanding. Like, I'm starting to feel like I can be more understanding of others. And so not only is it going to help me in my personal relationships at home and all that good stuff, but it'll also help me with my work relationships. I feel like it's also going to at some point help me with my food relationship, because I know we talk about it all the time, it being mental, but again, it's just not something I ever thought about or considered. And so now I'm starting to realize that I'm probably a little bit more messed up than I realized. And it's going to be nice to just have that outside perspective, and it's very refreshing to be able to understand myself a little bit more. So anyhow, that is what's been going on this week, and I am definitely going to start posting weekly my visits. I was actually going to record a portion of it just so that I could remember some key points, and I may do that this next session because I really want to share it with you guys, because I know that just like me, there's probably so many of you that never even considered mental health, or you feel like because you're perfectly normal, like you do not need to talk to anybody. And that was me. Like all my life I've felt like, but I don't have problems with depression really. And people ask me all the time, like, how are you happy all the time? I'm not happy all the time, you guys. Like, I go through my bouts, especially with, work and changing management. It's been difficult, and so some days I come home crying. It's not easy, and that's why sometimes it takes me a while to record videos, because I really do want to bring that good energy. I want to do it on my own terms when I feel good, and I want to genuinely come from a good place when I speak to you all, because you guys can totally tell, just like everyone else. You can sense when something is wrong even from the other side of the screen. Like, you can just tell. And so I have to be ready to give you guys that energy that you're looking for. And so that's why sometimes I'm like, it's not the time. Plus, November and December are just been not only crazy from a holiday standpoint, but unfortunately, my husband's grandmother passed away the day before Thanksgiving. And then I had a coworker pass away on the 21st of December. And sadly, to my surprise, because I went to go look for him on the 24th, at his house, because I couldn't get through to his phone line, and I kept trying to reach him and he wouldn't answer. So I told my husband, can you please just take me to his house? I want to make sure he's okay. I know he went in for surgery and I've not been able to have communication with him. And I found out he had passed away on the 21st, and alone. And so that was heartbreaking. And so it's just been a lot of just unforeseen circumstances these last 2 months. And so therefore it's like, I keep you guys in my mind, and I'm like constantly having conversations with you, which is part of the OCD. So, yeah. So now I know why, like, when I don't get things done, I'm just constantly thinking about it. And that's why when I tell you guys all the time, like, I think about you guys all the time, and like I'm playing it out in my head. That's part of the OCD. Like, isn't that crazy? I didn't know. At first, I'm just like, it's because I know it's something that I need to do, that I have to do. And when I don't do it, I'm thinking about it. And that's what it is. So that's literally this whole entire week. It's been in my head for me to record a video for you guys. And it's literally like, it's 9:55 right now, you guys. And I'm like, no, but I need to do it, because if I don't do it, I'm just going to keep thinking about it, and it just stresses me out not to do it. Like, I want to do this. I want to talk to them, and I want to hear how they're doing in the comments. And I tell them, my husband, like, no, I need to do this video right now. It's going to take me like 15 minutes. So here I am. So anyways, you guys, that is just a little bit of what's been going on in my life. I hope that now that I have purpose again, I feel like I have purpose, I'm going to share my mental health journey with you all. And I'm excited for that, because we all learn with this. Even Debbie learned some things, and my husband's learned some things, because we talk about it. And so that makes me happy. Like, when people can learn and recognize behaviors and things, and how to better address certain situations, like, I love that. So I'm more than willing to share my story with you guys. And so once again, I feel like I have purpose here with you guys. So like I said, I will always give you guys an update on my weight loss journey, because that is a big part of this. But now I have mental health going on, so we're going to talk about that too, among other things. But I'm not going to talk about what I want to do, because I do that every video. I'm always like, I want to do this and I want to do that. And again, I never get it done. But this time I'm just going to do it. Like, that way, if it happens, it happens organically. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And just know that I absolutely adore you guys. I love you all. I miss you all. My OGs that still email me and text me, I absolutely love you guys for reaching out to me all the time and just keeping tabs on me and checking on me. I, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you all so much for that. So I miss you guys. Until next time, talk soon.